the physical dollar bill could preserve your principal, but they have used up through inflation all of your purchasing power. They got to attack your principal. If they have a central bank digital currency, well, they can just, and they talk about this, yeah, we can just adjust that constantly to get what we want. Oh, yeah, that's who I want controlling my life. So what gold really does is it is completely outside of the system. It runs no counterparty risk. It is absolutely a proven inflation hedge. It is absolutely the go-to safe asset during political turmoil, which I think we can all agree we're definitely in that circumstance. So I only personally do the pre-1933 collectible coins because even though I promise you I did not pay $1 million for this coin, okay? But I want to be in that category because eminent domain laws say that the government wants something, they can take it, but they have to pay you fair value. Well, first of all, I know that the spot gold market or the spot silver market is not fair value for physical gold and silver. I already know that. So they can manipulate that. And I would imagine, because they want easy cooperation, that it could look something like this. I don't know, let's say the spot market's at $2,000 when they decide to do a confiscation, because most of the physical is held in IRAs anyway. And so they'd say, okay, you got to turn in your gold, but we're going to pay you $3,000. And most people, that nominal confusion kicks in and they go, well, wow, gold is only worth 2,000. They're going to pay me $3,000. Okay. I mean, this is what they did back in 1933 anyway. But as soon as they get the gold,
it's going to go a lot higher.
Then it gets revalued 20 or 50, or I mean, who knows how high in nominal terms that gold is going to go. But somebody that did indeed pay, $8 or $9 million or $15 million for 1 ounce of gold, they're not turning it in for $3,000, right? It's a collectible. And I kind of feel like anybody that can afford that either makes the laws or has the ability to influence those that make the laws. So I kind of look at it like, what if I'm right and what if I'm wrong? I'm still buying it so far below its true fundamental value. Doesn't matter whether or not I'm right or wrong.
Yeah.
So it's my insurance. Silver and gold in any form is monetary at its base. So if you happen to have 925 Mexican silver jewelry, that's 92.5% pure. The smart money, you can look at the charts and the graphs in the only physical area. And you're seeing that the billionaires, those that really have the money to buy 900,000 silver eagles or however, $8 million in gold or whatever it is, that's what I'm telling you is I saw a massive breakout, not the beginning of the breakout. The beginning of the breakout is down at our level, right? Just a normal level. But the smart money, yes, absolutely. And there's ample evidence from it. If you've got cash that's sitting there losing value through inflation, convert it to physical gold and silver in your possession. Because if you don't hold it, you don't own it, and it does not matter what your perception is in a court of law. And the reason why we do that strategy is because it takes a look at what your goals are, and it helps you put together a gold and silver portfolio to help you sustain your current standard of living. With real estate, there are property taxes. Real estate's immovable property. You cannot put it on your back and walk away. So governments will use this to tax you more because, what are you going to do? You're going to pay the taxes, or you're going to have to sell the property or lose the property, even if it's paid off and you can't pay the taxes. So part of the strategy is to make sure that you can sustain your current standard of living And personally, I do that mostly with silver. Silver for me is about barterability. And then you want to be in a position to take advantage of what's actually happening in these markets. Because right now, and you've been in these markets long enough to see those cycles, things are still, even though stocks may be down 30%, they're still severely overvalued from all that liquidity. So that's got to work out of the system. And we're going to see who survives, right? Because there are a lot of zombie firms that don't earn enough to pay their interest, let alone any of the principal. And so far, the banks have just allowed them to roll that over and take on more debt. But in this environment, there are going to be a lot of companies that do not survive that. So then by the time that all gets washed out, they're going to probably be severely undervalued, like gold and silver is now. Well, you've now held your purchasing power and you can convert into these income producing assets when they're dirt cheap. So we take a very holistic approach, and anybody that's going in, that's the way I'd say you should do it. You know, you put the horses before the cart. What are your goals? And what do you have to work with? And what are you trying to accomplish? And then that guides you to the kinds of gold and silver and what you should do. Well, definitely the Constitution supports a sound money system, which has been abused over all this time. But actually, what I think about this bill in the short term, then it's impossible because you cannot back, and I've heard this a lot, oh, China's going to back their currency with gold, or Russia is, or what have you. As soon as you do that, it fixes the debt levels where they are, and they're already not payable. So they have to first hyperinflate that debt away, which then means that everybody has lost confidence in the currency. And so we're kind of on the cusp of that, I think. But on the other side of it, when you're trying to get people to trust the government and to trust the currency again, they do put a component of gold in it. And so I think that setting up that law now is maybe possibly a precursor to bringing it in after they've hyperinflated all the debt away. And at least it's already inside the system. It is very hard for me to imagine that they've been confiscating my working wealth since the day I was born. And right at the end, they're going to stop and go, oh, you know what? You were smart enough to buy gold. We're going to let you keep that wealth.